Um, Sorry. Um, hello, hello everyone. Today I was going to do something a little different because I realized that I haven't actually done a introduction to myself. You know, I feel like I only started recording my streams 2 days ago, so I feel like there's a lot of missed information for people who like have just started watching me. So today I'm gonna do a little bit of a intro. Yes, intro to myself. I'll be talking about myself, which isn't the best. You know, what am I trying to say? It's not the best topic to talk about, but I think it's important because people need to know why my opinions are what they are. Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Cool. People need to know why I think the way I do, and also I think it'll help people understand why I think the way that I do, but also it'll help people sort of decide if they feel the same way, if they feel differently. So yeah, what I will suggest, I'm not suggest, ask for everybody that's watching, if you are interested, just send me a question in the chat, and I'll be totally happy to answer them. Nothing is off limits. I'm completely honest about everything. So I'm gonna just be like, send your questions through. I will. And this is like for anything. If you need like an opinion, if you need me to help with your problems, I'm actually one of the best therapists ever. Um, so yeah, let's get started. So I was born on the year. I was born on the 27th of December 2000, and I'm 21 years old, and I was born in Sri Lanka. Obviously, I'm from Sri Lanka. Obviously, um, and I lived there for 4 years, and then I moved to Kuwait, where I lived there for honestly somewhere like 7 or 8 years, and then I moved to Australia. First, I moved to Sydney for 6 months, and then I moved to Brisbane, and I've been living here ever since. It's actually been just about 10 years. Um, wow. Um. Anyway. Anyway. Fuck. It's almost been 10 years that It has been 10 years actually. I've lived in Australia for 10 years, and I have been. I have been exposed to so much, you know. Um, and I should mention, so I live with my parents and my sister. My sister is 14. This is 14. No, 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 she's not 14. She's 15. 7 year age gap. Um, and yeah, I like to a couple things about me, I guess. So I like to I like to play sports. Specifically, I like to play football, which is all soccer. I used to play cricket when I was younger, obviously, and then I also I also love to dress. I love fashion in general. I used to, my primary focus is sneakers, but I'm getting into more things like that. I also love food. I've recently started to like attempt to lose weight or lose a bit more weight. So I've been learning to cook a lot more. So now I have a very well developed well roundly developed skill around cooking. So that's one of the things that I like to do as well. I should mention my it looks like I'm not stuttering, but I have like a speech impediment, and it's only because I bit my tongue really bad this morning. Like my mouth was bleeding. So I'm trying to be very careful when I'm talking, just to make sure that I don't do any more damage. But yeah. So that's kind of the stuff that I do. I like cook. I like to, um, I like to watch movies as well. And I've recently taken up streaming because I've found the reason I like have been taking an interest in streaming is because I've been spending a lot of time looking through media, especially on TikTok, about how problems within POC cultures and the lives of POCs have been extremely trivialized. Um, they haven't been given the full weight that they deserve. So I'm not saying I'm here to change it all, but I'm here to provide a bit more of a perspective on why brown people think the way they do, or whitewashed brown people like myself think the way that they do. And I think it's a very important conversation that we need to have, and more people like us being POCs, need to lead the conversation instead of you know expecting others to do it for us. So that's primarily why I do this stream. This is meant to be a safe space for everyone, but in particular for POCs to talk about issues and insecurities and problems that they might have, and how we can all band together to help them, or find a specific solution. Um, one thing that I want to talk about today, in particular, alongside of sort of talking about who I am and stuff like that, is misrepresentation or a lack of representation in the media surrounding POCs, specifically surrounding brown people. Um, so I'm gonna open up my yeah I'm gonna open up my screen capture because we're gonna talk about a few people. So I made a list of specific POCs that I'm gonna target today. I'm gonna send them into the chat. We've got Dev Patel, um, Kunail, I'm going to butcher his name, Nanjiani. Should probably check if that's how you do spell his name. We've also got Kunail Nayar. Yeah, Nayar. He's the guy from the Big Bang Theory. He's Raj off the Big Bang Theory. Um, and else, if anybody has any suggestions of actors, POC actors, brown actors, but not Bollywood actors per se. I need actors from India or brown culture that have been given access to Western media, because it's a very, very important conversation and a very important thing I'm trying to talk about. Oh, hold on, give me one sec. Okay. Um. So yeah, like let me just fix up one more thing. Oh, Kumail Nanjiani. Okay. We'll be talking about these three for the time being, right? So one thing I've noticed, also, and a bit from The Simpsons. So the primary issue that I feel that I have with these guys as actors is that they aren't pushing the boundaries in terms of you know helping us branch away from the stereotype that we have, which is that brown people are extremely smart, extremely efficient, but very timid, not the risk taking type, not the overtly masculine types. Um, that's something that I think people need to realize. Um, and it's not, I think a specific issue that I've realized is that these actors aren't necessarily standing up for themselves, if that makes sense. One incident I specifically want to mention is with Kunal night out. So when he was in The Big Bang Theory, he was asked to put on an accent. The thing is, he's British. He does not have an Indian accent. He had put that on for the show to emphasize the fact that he is of South Asian descent, and it's funny that he's not a ladies' man and that he's a pussy. Like all of that's funny because he's Indian. Like it's things like that, and I think specific shows like that and portrayal of people like that um, has hurt POC culture a lot over time, especially now. It's been a very it's been an issue that I've noticed online where you know brown POC men are very emasculated by other men, right? Because of this portrayal, where you're not really gonna take the guy seriously because he's brown, and brown people are meant to be very timid and shy and stuff like that. And I feel like the root cause of not the root cause, but one of the root causes that I've pointed out is that when you grow up as a brown person, the your life is centered around being very specific roles, right? For males, it's either being a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or a businessman, or it's predominantly focusing around education and education to make money, right? And that's where a lot of parental emphasis is placed. Where you're not allowed to talk to girls because they'll come in the way of your studies. You're not allowed to play sports because that's going to take away from your studies. You can't join the choir or go to the theater or go work out in a gym because that's going to take away from your studies. Um, and the reason I highlight this as an issue is because when you have a society of brown parents that constantly barrage their student or their children with this ideology that only education matters and that education should be the sole aspect of your personality, we lose a lot of creative talent for kids who academics is not their thing. Um, like I even me personally, I'm only really good at English or literature and language. I'm not a maths person. I'm not a walking calculator like some of these other brown kids are. But I had very, for me, I tended to rebel pretty early as a youngster. So I didn't follow the specific path where I had to drop everything that I was doing to only focus on my studies. But my point is, a lot of kids, there are some kids who are great at theater, some kids who are great at singing, but at some point in the high school years, specifically, their parents will say, "You need to drop this. You need to do this subject, do this, get this grade, study this at uni, so you can get a job and make money." Like, so I feel like that mindset and that way of thinking is very dangerous because not everybody wants to be a businessman. Not everybody wants to be a lawyer. Not everybody wants to be a doctor and spend 10 years studying and spending money to to do that as a career. Some people want to act. Some people want to draw. Some people want to be, like people can be anything really. But I feel like we as brown people, because of this um, mannerisms, we're boxing ourselves in. We're closing ourselves off. So you come to a point where you can almost predict what a brown child's going to be in the future because it's so set out. You know what I mean? Um, and I've had conversations with many brown friends where I instantly assume that they either are going to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or study business and do something in that field. And I don't attribute anything else to them because I'm so used to them or seeing them as a one trick pony, or a square peg. Um, and I think that mindset and the parenting style causes harm for us in the media because we don't have enough people trying to push the boundaries of our reputation and our representation. You know, like it's very hard to name more than 10 brown actors within Western media. You know, Bollywood is, I think, different because it is a very popular genre of movies, but ultimately speaking, it appeals to a very specific demographic as well, you know. And unless Bollywood can reach Western media or somehow overtake Western media, we are still, as brown people, going to be we are still going to be seen for what the Western media portrays us as, right? And yeah, what I'm saying is the way that we've been parenting or parents have been teaching our kids has caused us to very much kind of hold ourselves back, not show what we really can do, and not show what we're truly capable of. And I think a great example of how this has changed can be seen within the Southeast Asian community. So for a long time, because of Asian hate and Asian fear, Asian men have been very emasculated, very desexualized, seen as very puny, very weak, high pitched voice type of shit like that. But now, with with the emergence of not emergence but popularization of K-pop and Korean culture and Japanese culture, we've been able to have an actor like Simu Liu, burst onto the scene, but provide a new, face for the Asian community through the Marvel movies. I remember there was a lot of hype around when we first saw Simu's physique, because we it just wasn't something that we as westernized people were used to seeing. An absolutely, ripped, buff looking, attractive Asian person in a superhero movie, It just wasn't something that we were used to, but we've embraced that. And now we've seen more and more, Asian Americans or Asian Australians kind of embrace their gym personality or like their love for fitness and show themselves off as, hey, look, I'm more than just a walking, like I'm more than just what my education shows me as. I have a lot more to show about my personality. And that's one thing that I think us as brown POCs should do and benefit from. Um, and I think this underrepresentation in the media also causes harm because it just means that most kids who aren't, following the typical education path have no real role models to look into. You know, um, it's very hard to, sort of get into fitness and instantly connect with a brown bodybuilder because they're not very rare. I mean, they are very rare, if that makes sense, or they're not as popular as the white bodybuilders or fitness influencers or fitness creators, And I just think that there's not enough of us actually embracing our love for the gym or embracing our love for art or fashion, food, and stuff like that. And so I think that's one thing that has been bothering me, you know, for a while, that our representation has been so minimal within society, and that we've also allowed ourselves, when we have gotten the opportunity to be represented, we've held ourselves back, you know. Um, if you look at the character Pooh from The Simpsons, he is a South Indian man. I think he might be actually Tamil, but he is voiced by a white person. He's voiced by a white man. Obviously, I have no issue with the show. It's been running for a long time. I'm over it, but I always just wonder how things may have been different if we were able to at least, it is very the character is extremely stereotypical in some cases. Kind of goes over the top with how he portrays us as brown people. As working at like the 7-Eleven type of supermarket and all that stuff. But it feels so disingenuous and it feels almost like an insult when you find out that he's voiced by a white person. So all these ideas of this character and the way he behaves, they've come from somebody who doesn't actually know the culture themselves. So assumptions that someone else has made about us based on what they've seen, which doesn't sit right for me. um if it was, I feel as though if the character was voiced by somebody who was South Asian, then perhaps we would have had less of a um, character. What's the word? Was I? It would have been less comical, and a little bit more realistic and a little bit less patronizing, you know. That's yeah, so stuff like that. And I think we have been making a little bit of headway with Kumail Nanjiani. He was the actor on the Eternals, so there was a lot of buzz when we saw his physique as well, because he used to be obviously a little bit of a dad body, you know, skinny fat type of guy, and then we looked at him and he was ripped. Let me try find video. Let me try find a photo of it actually, because I think we really need to see, you know, what he looks like now. Okay, let's try to do this. All right, there it is. So you know, this physique is crazy. You know, to go from this guy, again, like very, very humble, very non-threatening kind of look, right here. You know what I mean? But then when you look at him here, a a few weeks before they release the movie, he looks insane. Um, like it's crazy this how this nerdy type of ugly kind of vibes being set for him in other movies, but then you look at him here, and this is seriously like a lot of people are going to look at this and realize that maybe it's possible for them as a brown person to also look like this. Um, see, it's like I can't fucking pronounce his name, but like this is a Bollywood actor, so not a lot of Western people know about him. They're still going to portray. They're going to be using him as like the standard, which is not bad. It's good. It's definitely good. And it shows that we have room to move forward in the sense that we need more actors to not necessarily put on weight, but play more important roles. Play more roles that showcase that we aren't just this walking stereotype of a nerd. We can be the buff smart guy, or just the buff superhero. Like Jesus, how the fuck did he? That's crazy. So that's the thing. That's one thing, and with him wearing these type of like clothing to like the movie premieres, I think is very important for us as well. Up there it is, yeah. This type of representation is what we want, because we want people to show how we as brown people are different, but just as good as them, as white people, Asian people, black people, etc. So I think it's very good what's going on right now. We just need a little bit more to keep going forward. We're on a good roll. We just kind of need to keep moving forward. Otherwise, we will end up kind of, you know, falling into the trap of being very much like, you know, the 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 nerd, the weird Asian, type of aesthetic. Um, so that's the thing. Hang on, let me just back. Oh, back to here. So that's basically my rundown so far. Spent like 20 minutes talking about it. Um, um, any questions? Any questions? Just type them in the chat. I will answer them. Yeah. Any questions? I'm gonna take a break talking and kind of stock up on this food that I have. So, you know, I should mention this has been brought to my attention that another like another another reason that we as brown POCs have been sort of held back is that is that like I think a lot of people underestimate the effects of Vine when like me as a child or as a teenager was growing up. Vine was very prominent. Vine was the TikTok of my generation, and we had a specific creator by the name of Lee Singh, who was very, 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 very popular on Vine. But the thing was that with Miss Singh, um, I'll just show you guys who I'm talking about. So this is Lily Singh, right? Um, you know, he is of Indian heritage. Um, so with Miss Singh, the issue wasn't necessarily that she was doing Vine or anything like that. And I think it's great that at least as a brown person we were able to kind of see a content creator that wasn't something that we were used to. But like for me, it was just kind of when you look through her content, right? A lot of her content was very much kind of laughing at herself being brown. If that makes sense. It was a very self-deprecating humor that I think had the right intentions at the start, but then it just kind of got out of hand to the point where you know she she almost gave the punchline for other people to make jokes about brown people. You know what I mean? I know a similar take has been given on King Bash, and what he did for black people in terms of media representation, because King Batch is one of the like biggest creators on Vine, and so much of his content was surrounded around, um, highlighting the very trivial aspects of black culture, like the love for sneakers, the love for fried chicken, being targeted by police, robbing, stealing, their criminal activity. Like a lot of his content was making fun of those issues, but the problem is that by constantly making light of those issues, right? That your culture is obviously seen negatively for, you end up giving people who have something against you already almost a bias. It's almost like, oh look, he's already joking about it, or he's already mentioning it so much because he knows it's true. If that makes sense. So in a similar way with what Singh was doing, you end up in a situation where because she's so popular and because all of her content is around making fun of things that like making fun of being brown or aspects of brown culture, as a as a person who isn't a brown POC, you're you can only really know about you can only the only thing you know about brown culture is what you see from Miss Singh, right? So when all you see from Miss Singh are negative stereotypes or jokes about stereotypes, then you start to internalize that, hey, maybe it's okay that I do the same thing, and then you end up in a situation where racism is kind of almost excused by the fact that it's a joke. You know, it would be equivalent of if a POC that isn't black were to make jokes that King Batch made about people, rationalize it by saying the fact that because he used to do it, it's okay because he kind of already established it as a fact. If that makes sense at all. Um, Let me know. I can go back and re-explain it. That's one of the things I think mine really caused or like had as a catalyst. And you can kind of do that with TikTok as well, where so much of a person's personality is attributed to the race, their race, their gender, very, very trivial aspects of them, their physicality or their person is held to a weird standard, you know? And I think it's fine. It's not an issue. Like I have nothing against missing for what she's done with OCs. Um, but it's sort of the inability to hold yourself accountable, or sort of explain that these jokes are made for us by us. They're not for your amusement. They're not for your use. This is towards people, other people that aren't brown POCs. Um, that's one thing that I think a lot of celebrities or a lot of people who become famous choose to acknowledge, to ignore, or forget that ultimately speaking, once they're out of this bubble, right? Once they've made content and started to gain traction and they're famous, they're treated differently to the rest of us. We still have to deal with the repercussions of what they've done, you know. So we still face marginalization or stereotypical um, comments and views because of the way that these people who are who meant to be like our ambassadors have represented us, you know. And that's something that I don't think is talked about enough. Um, Specifically, within brown culture, I think the actions of Juice Rain and Lee, where you know, like the only thing they kind of talk about is the bad things about being brown or turning everything into a joke. You know, where for me, I just don't know if that's really what we should be doing when we should be kind of encouraging good things about our culture too. Not everything has to be a joke, laugh at us, especially because when you put it to a public platform and the way that the world is right now, you give a lot of people who have internalized hatred towards us already a a, a avenue to sort of rationalize their disdain and their hatred. It's almost like if one of them is already making the joke, then what's wrong with me doing it? They're already laughing at that joke, but the thing is, we're laughing at that joke because it's made by someone like us. So they get it and we get it. So it's not a joke that you can necessarily make yourself. Um, yeah, that's one of the things that I've noticed. Vine's responsible for too. Give me 1 second. Mm, good. Um, what else? What else? Um, 1 second. Whew. But yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, more like bringing more light to the culture. Like you can joke about it. It's fine. know. I think joking about certain aspects of brown culture or any culture, what it does it it highlights something that people always forget is that not everybody is alone. So, you know, when you joke about things within culture, you're able to show people, hey, the way you feel about this thing is not the way. It's not you're not the only one who feels that way. Um, you know, but the problem with joking about it is that when you trivialize this issue down to a very base form and almost disregard it, you almost like when you treat it as a joke and you just stop taking it seriously. The problem is it creates a very nonchalant perception towards that issue in the first place. You know, so like the concept of only like being brown, only studying law or engineering or whatever. When you start to make jokes like about that, that's fine. It's not an issue. And you start to talk about how overbearing parents are about that stuff. That's fine. But when you choose not really acknowledge the deeper root behind it, right? And acknowledge that maybe like reason that parents are harsh on their kids because they haven't had much success when they were younger, and it was a lot harder for them to reach the position they're in now. Like when you don't make acknowledgments like that within your own culture towards your own people, it what it does is it allows other people from other cultures to almost see us like they don't it doesn't allow other people of other cultures to see deeper into the issue as well. I think a lot of POCs are aware that the reason parents want them to work so hard in terms of education and you know get into these jobs and for the most part do promise a lot of money. The reason they do that is because they didn't have a lot of money growing up either. They weren't able to support a very good lifestyle for themselves, so they want to guarantee that for their kids, and that's noble, great. But if you don't acknowledge that motive behind the super strict parenting or the almost insane obsession with work and studies and throwing away other aspects of your personality for that, what it does it villainizes brown people, right? It creates a very toxic environment where brown parents are seen as these super helicopter parents and overbearing and stifling their kids' creativity, but it just removes any form of sympathy because there's a deeper understanding behind the issue. That's the problem with jokes. You know, because there's no harm in making the joke, but if you are able to at least identify later on that, hey, I know this was funny, but please remember that your parents do this for you, blah blah blah, stuff like that. I feel like a lot more people would appreciate the joke, but also not be so quick to judge us as brown people on our obsession with education and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how I feel. Thank you for your question. I'm so excited. Like the first question I've been asked. Oh, I'm so happy. Seriously. Um, but yeah. Hmm. I wonder how people feel about like when people that aren't of a specific culture make jokes about somebody else's culture, right? But not in like a racist, malicious way. Like if the joke's genuinely funny, right? And like how do people feel about that? That's one thing I've also had not struggles with. I don't but it's more how do you is that okay? Is that not okay? You know, um, you know, it's like, but yeah, like that's one thing that I've also been thinking about. Especially, I think I see this a lot within race relations in America, specifically around between white and black people, where a lot of jokes about parenting styles of black men or stuff like that. A lot of jokes around that issue tend to be not encouraged, but certain white creators do take part in that. Some jokes, objectively to me as a brown person, are funny. Oh, oh yes, go. What? Explain some. Several. Yeah, tell me. Tell me. What are the things that it depends on? We can dissect it right now. Is there a way to like invite a person to chat? Because I think there is. I really want to do that. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That's the problem. Like if, and it also depends on everybody. That's the thing, because some people are more sensitive. Some people are more likely to jump to a very aggressive stance on this issue. Um, Me specifically, if I think I think it depends on the person who does post it. Um, yeah, mm-mm, yeah. Um, but the the situations that I'm speaking about are specifically like with content creation, right? Where it's not just a conversation between friends. I think a conversation between friends, that's fine, so long as you've already kind of established a discourse where you can be friendly, joke about things like that. Like I for sure have made jokes about white people and like a lack of culture, lack of seasoning in their food. You know, if a white person says that they want to add some to their food, I just say, did you just add spice or did you add pepper? You know, I definitely made jokes like that, and that's between me and my friends, and that's fine. And when my friends do something similar to me about my culture, I let it slide because if you can give it, you have to be able to take it. Right? But with content creation, a lot of the time it's unprovoked. You know what I mean? Nobody's asked you to do it unless you're replying to a comment or something like that. Nobody's asked you to make that joke. You just wanna, make the joke or wanna make some views, some friends, be funny, blah blah. Um, in those type of situations, how do you feel? Um, Me personally, I feel like it would depend on the person because sometimes you have people who are extremely knowledgeable within somebody else's culture. You know, um, a lot of white people love to say that they're heavily enveloped in other people's culture. It's almost I feel like it's almost like a what's the word like it's almost like they're trying to make up for their lack of culture, right? So me, like with those type of people, those type of people who are somehow somewhat a little bit more with into the culture that they are talking about, making jokes about, I think it's okay. Um, Again, like depending on their intent, you know, if 9 times out of 10 they have a very calm intent, there's no malice behind it, I think it's okay. But if it is someone who is doing it with the purpose of highlighting a shortcoming within somebody else's culture, I think that's where I kind of cross the line. But it's a very hard issue to make a you know distinct decision on, because if you read the comment section of any content posted by somebody who isn't of a specific culture and it's joking about a specific culture, half the comments will be flipping out saying that this isn't right, you have no place to talk about this, blah blah blah. But then the other half is like, I'm black and I found this funny, I'm Asian, I found this funny, you guys are taking it too seriously, we should be able to laugh at our own failures, stuff like that. I think yes, yeah, yeah. That's the thing as well. And a lot of the time, with the nature of social media, you can, I could make my account private on TikTok and comment on, a white person making a black person joke and say, I'm black and I found this funny. You know what I mean? So how much of it really is, legitimately people who are affected by the culture supporting or discrediting the content? um that's another thing that I've had an issue with. So a lot of time when I do see that type of content, it's like I don't necessarily support it so long as it's harmless. I feel like some jokes, like a joke about brown kids studying too much, that's harmless. But if it's something related to, say, terrorism or like sexual violence or violence in general, like those type of jokes where somebody else is you know villainizing a specific culture or group of people, that's kind of where I cross the line. irrespective of how funny it is, it's not your place to make those assumptions or try to infer this about a person or a group of people when it's got nothing to do with you. That's where I kind of cross the line. Yeah. Um, that's why I feel like content creators have a little bit should take a little bit more responsibility to address who can make jokes about certain things. You know what I mean? Because if you kind of leave to it, oh, anybody can do it, you come to a point where if you look at the emasculation of South Asian men or Southeast Asian men, so much of it, if you see it in modern discourse, people hide behind the fact that it's a joke. Like the white guy talking about how small an Asian person's dick is. It's a joke. You know what I mean? Like, problem with that is the problem with treating it as a joke is that you're obviously using that phrase "it's a joke" as a defense mechanism because you really do mean what you say, right? It's not your place to make that joke or even talk about the issue, but because we as Asian creators haven't, I don't want to use the word gatekeep, but haven't regulated the ability for other people to make jokes about us. Because we haven't done that, we end up in a place where if I were to make a joke about my own culture, right, with the TikTok account I have right now, say I got 1,000 views, 200 likes, that's it. But if for some reason, somehow, some way, a popular white creator found that joke, and then they're kind of like those creators who like to start shit and poke the bear and start a little drama. If they post that video and get 150,000 likes, and the problem is they will because nobody has checked the person to say that you can make this joke. A lot of their viewers are going to be using this joke or seeing it as a, oh, it's fine, he's done it, I can do it, type of thing. Which is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Um, that's just how I feel. I think it's not necessarily a good thing, but at the same time, then you start to have this internal conversation where you have to decide: am I is it right that I'm gatekeeping this part of my culture? Is it right that I am not allowing other people to make this joke? I think I think with the climate that we are in the world, I always tell my parents that if the coronavirus had started in India or South Asia instead of Southeast Asia, I would have had to deal with a lot more racism than I have dealt with this country already. You know, I think that's fact. And you know, I have no racial bias or prejudice towards Southeast Asian people, but it's a fact that you know there was already an underlying dislike from white people to Asian people, and that's been the case throughout history. In this country, it was evidently apparent when with the White Australia policy, and in the U.S. it was same. Um, and the the introduction of the coronavirus and its labeling of the as China virus, and you know the the alienization and criminalization of Asian people in general has created a environment where you know racism towards Asian people is so easily joke about, not taken seriously. People genuinely act out on this. Um, I I consistently see posts from an account, this American guy. He posts videos around, Asian hate crimes around the U.S. and Asian hate crimes have spiked since the coronavirus in 2020. And I always think that what if this virus was to come from India, Sri Lanka or Pakistan or whatever, and what if people did start making joke about it from the jump, about eating the bats in the soup, blah blah blah, all that stuff, right? But the problem is when you make jokes like that and you're white or you're black, but or you're not Asian, and nobody's checking you. No, you make this joke without you know any need to. The problem becomes that people like you, like white people or black people with racial um, intentions, start to weaponize their racial hatred because they've already seen, a video blow up. Like, you see a popular video basically criminalizing Asian people and blaming them for what your life is like now. As a normal person, when you see that, it's almost like it's like ammo. It's almost like, oh well, look, they're all right. All 150,000 people like video, they must agree with me. I must do something about. Um, that's what I'm afraid with. That's what I'm afraid that'll happen with you know the way jokes and comments that other peoples from other cultures make about certain cultures will go. You know, and you can see that type of stuff with terrorist comments about Middle Eastern people and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's a dangerous, um, very dangerous minefield to walk around in the political climate that we're in. Mm. If anyone wants to know what I'm eating, it's chopped up watermelon, frozen pineapple, and orange. And I put lemon sorbet on top. It melted, so now it's just like lemonade, watermelon. Oh, it's amazing. Um, we're streaming for 2 more hours. I need to stay up, so that's what we're doing today. But yeah, how is everyone doing? I think is it today? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm pretty sure today is the Chinese New Year, right? Oh, cool. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's Chinese New Year today. I mean, Chinese New Year 2022. Oh, well, it is Chinese New Year in 2 hours. So happy Chinese New Year in 2 hours. Um, yeah, like, you know, hang on. It's technically the 1st of February. Um, yeah. I also decided, crazy update, I'm going to Sydney 2 weeks. I've been I've gone through it recently, mental breakdown type shit. So I've decided that the best way to deal with it is to run away from every problem I have, fuck off to a different city. Um, I've made my decision. Tickets are like $70. I'm gonna do it. Recently I've gone through it. I've been going through failed talking stage on failed talking stage on failed talking stage. Um, I work at a job and a workplace that I hate. I don't have the best group of friends that I expected I would have. Um, and I have done things over the last year that I'm not exactly proud of, and I realize that I'm not as good of a person as I thought I was. And I've realized I'm trapped, stuck in this loop, you know, where I don't necessarily want to be a lawyer or study law, but I kind of have no choice because I need money. I want to live a good lifestyle. I need to make good money. Um, so I've decided that going to Sydney, wasting money there, is probably going to be the best thing for me to do right now. And also, I haven't traveled since 2020. So it's been a while, and I was in Japan then. So Sydney isn't necessarily an upgrade, but it is better than nothing, and I will go. If anyone has any recommendation on where I should go, let me know in the chat. I'm gonna make an itinerary. I'll be there for about 2 weeks. I think either I go to Sydney for a week and then go to Melbourne for another week, then come back up. Um, so yeah, include Melbourne as well. Any clubs, any theme parks, restaurants, fashion boutique, anything. Let me know. I'm happy to try all of them. Hmm, good shit. Hmm. But what else? Oh, if anyone has any questions about me as well that they want answered, feel free to just text in the chat and I'll get to them. Um, just I'm just right now. um, wait one. Ooh, 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 ooh. So yeah, let's, I'm gonna vent. There's only one person watching right now. Nobody else is here, and I I don't know if people are gonna watch a whole stream of mine, a whole hour. So this is probably gonna go under the radar. But I hate I hate dating right now. In this day and age. Um, because I think for someone like us, two viewers, fuck whatever. I think someone like me, right? I naturally overthink a lot, and I kind of ruin things for myself a lot. And staying in this day and age, right, where a lot of the time because things are closed and people aren't going out as much and constantly in fear of being infected, you kind of have to resort to seeing people online, right? Which isn't a problem. It's not a problem until you do match with them and you have a great conversation, but then the conversation dies. The spark always dies after the first night, right? Always dies a little bit. Well, a lot of the time it dies off completely, dies off half, dies off a little bit. But the problem is, right? You always realize that no matter how great your conversation is with this person, they're always talking to other people. They're always seeing other people. There's always other people who are ahead of you in the game than you are right now. You know, and as a male, and specifically as a medium male, and I'm 5'9", not exactly like a super skinny, lanky guy, not white. Um, because of a lot of female racial dating preferences, no matter how they say it's not apparent and it's not real, they have it, right? Because if you don't fit the bill, you're kind of stuck in this loop, right? Where you gotta always remind yourself that there are other fish in the sea, blah blah blah. But that constant awareness that they are talking to somebody else, and that person might be better than you, or that there are multiple people ahead of you. That's something that I've been struggling to deal with, especially in talking stage, or even just in general. Like, if you want someone in a serious manner, that's one thing that I've been struggling with. And that's something that I've been going through recently. The inability to kind of understand or really accept that I am good enough compared to all these people, because at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about all these other competitions on the first night. The first night is very much a focus on that person, but when the spark starts to die, to you try to rationalize it like any normal person. You try to think, what did I do wrong? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? What can I do to change it? Blah blah. And then you kind of realize she's gone dry on you because she's got other people to talk to, obviously. And so, like, like when that happens, how does one function? You know what I mean? Especially when you like kind of fall for someone, or you really do put a few eggs in that basket. You know, that's one thing I've been struggling with, in general. Yeah, and just dating in general sucks. I think because I think the issue is right. In a, Brisbane's like a small town in a city type of thing, right? You really can do everything in Brisbane within a year. If you gave it all the time, and you went every place once, you can get through Brisbane pretty easily, right? So the other thing is when you do go on dates, I think dinner dates are overrated. Not overrated. I think overdone. You know. Um. But that being said, there's not much you really take a person to in Brisbane. Like you get into an arcade. Like these are my like date spots: arcade, mini golf. Fuck that might hit. Dinner, obviously. Um, late night drive. Um, to a lookout, but that's maybe not the first date type of thing. But there's not much to do, and so you're you know kind of stuck in this loop where you're going to the same places, doing the same things, and it's just you know. I just don't like dating in general right now. It's too you're just stuck with too much competition, and I think a lot of people have internalized this idea that there is always someone better, irrespective of who you're talking to. There is always someone better. So people settle. It's almost like a she wasn't yours; it was just your turn type of situation. Where they might be with you right now until they find somebody else who's better. You know what I mean? Who has more money, who has a faster car, better body, blah blah blah. This goes men and women. I mentioned that. I just just I don't know. Dating right now is just a play a board game. That's a good idea, actually. I don't know. Like, if you like took a board game with you today, I like that. That's a good idea. Um, no, no, that's true. That's true. I didn't mean it bad. I just mean that. What do I mean? Maybe I've just had a bad experience. I'd go with battleships. I never got around to like learning how to play. I won't lie. I have. I should say, right. I've had many positive experiences going on dates. Um, it's just recently, like my mental health has been kind of depleted, so I've kind of been very pessimistic recently. mean, I don't know. It's just I've been seeing. I've been very negative, very pessimistic over the last few weeks. So I have kind of not give people benefit of the doubt and constantly try to you know villainize them, which is great. So I do take back the whole comment about there's always someone better. That I think that was misinterpreted. But what I'm saying is, I think as a guy, right? Um, I think this is a fact that girls are very the girls have options than guys. So they have the ability to attain more options than guys, right? And irrespective of how confident you are in your abilities, at some point you also have to acknowledge that you know maybe maybe there is someone who is a little bit more better or a little bit more appealing to that person. I think people don't understand how to let somebody go either. That's one thing that I've kind of started to grapple as well. Letting letting go of someone that you like, knowing that there's nothing more that you as a person can give them to convince, not convince, but like to have them commit to you. You know, that's one thing I've learned. Um, crying emoji, no crying emoji. Like that's one thing that I've been learning to kind of you know yeah, like being okay with letting go of people that don't give you the same energy that you give them, or who have kind of not run their course, but when you get into a talking stage with somebody and it's going really well, but then they slowly start to you know distance themselves. They reply less and they aren't being and they're drier than usual, stuff like that. Learning to sort of realize what's happening and learn to let go, I think is something that a lot of people don't understand. Or I feel like they understand, but they aren't like, willing to accept. I feel like people like being hurt in that way, because it's emotional and it almost kind of has a little bit of drama to it. A lot of people will still chase this person. Fuck that! Fuck, that was so scary. I think a lot of people. Hang on, see. That is a good thing. You don't want to go. Oh yeah, 100%. But like, you ever like talk to a friend of yours who has a toxic ex or is in a position where they keep going back to the same person after they've been hurt. I think people can't accept that they should move on and that they deserve better, but also they kind of like drama, where they feel like they are kind of not wanted, but it's almost like a challenge. It's almost a I'm gonna try convince you that I'm important, and it almost gives them a sense of purpose. It's like they're fighting for something. Um, I say this because that's like some of the things that I used to feel when I was in a relationship, or you know when I was trying to get into a relationship, or right after, like even though it ended and even though we weren't good for each other, I did still see myself trying to get her back and trying to continue it because it was a chase. It was as though I couldn't accept that it's over. She's not the one. Blah blah blah. Hmm. Better. Um. That's the thing. And oh oh oh, cool, I got a follow up. That's what. Oh sweet. Hello. Thank you for following me. Um, yeah, like you know, it makes no sense. But that's what it is. That's what I hypothesize. People want to feel wanted, and the only way to do that, right, is chase someone so much to the point where you want a reaction out of them. You want to like you want to keep texting them, keep seeing them, and somehow, some way, convince yourself that all this effort you put in is gonna reap a massive reward where they are with you, and you know it's all it's all great and stuff like that. Um, how do people stop that? How do people get out of that cycle? Crazy. Sorry, I'm just rambling. I don't even know. This wasn't even the point of the podcast today. Um, ow, sorry. I let this tongue bite really hurts. 3 views, man. This is awesome. I love this. Um, I've recently, yeah, I was telling people earlier how I feel trapped in this lifestyle that I'm in right now, where I don't think the course I'm studying is even really the course I want to study. But the course I did want to study at first was psychology. I really love reading people, or like you know, trying my best to like. Hmm, I think it stops when like your mind just can't take anymore. You know, either you receive closure that they don't want you. Like I received closure from my ex that we weren't going to get back together, and I managed to fucking finally internalize that, move on. Um, but then yeah, for some people that fantasy they hold on so much, and then something drastic happens. You know, not closure wise in terms of them saying, you know, we won't be together. I don't want you. Blah blah blah. But something super just emotionally gut wrenching. You know, where they have a choice but to move away. Um, that's yeah, kind of like learn the lesson the hard way type of thing. You know. Well, yeah. Um, because I don't like the life I'm living right now. I've been trying to find a way out, basically. You know, I think a lot of people aren't, you know, trying to find a way out. I feel like a lot of people are trapped in like explain it. A lot of people still think that it'll all work out if they keep um, chasing this. Give me 1 second. Like a lot of people just a lot of people keep chasing this chasing the bag, right? I think a lot of people are motivated by purely chasing money, um, and not necessarily finding what they really like. You know, it, it's even me. I did pick law as a subject primarily because I had no other choice. My my like GPA was it wasn't great. Sorry, my it just wasn't the best, and I wasn't able to get into the course that I wanted to initially. Um, but I'm just not sure if this is me. You know, this lifestyle. Okay, so I'll be honest. I had a job at a law firm time, yeah, last year in November and December, right? And I was doing this job, and it, I was working from 8:30 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon, and my job was primarily looking at 3 different screens and doing research and stuff like that. Very officey type of job, right? And it paid well, you know. The money was crazy. But I found that I was extremely burnt out, you know, from that job. I found that I wasn't able to really, like wasn't able to really do what I wanted, and I wasn't happy with how I was living that lifestyle. And ultimately I stopped. I didn't I didn't keep going. I didn't keep going with this off. I didn't keep going with the job, but I realized that maybe this office lifestyle, this 8:30 to 5 in the afternoon, when I was doing the job, I wasn't able to go out most nights, because I'd have to wake up at 6 in the morning to get to the firm, and after work at 5:30, I never really had time to do anything else because I was so tired and so burnt out from such a long day of work. And so it was, again, I was stuck in a cycle where it was a mindless drone. You ever just look at your parents and you see them, wake up early, go to work at a job that 10 times, like eight times out of 10, they don't even like, just and do it for the money, and they come home and they're so tired, and all they do is sit on the couch and just lay themselves out. I didn't want that. I didn't want the next 50 years of my working life to do that. Where the only times I'm able to rest is like a 3 week vacation once a year. Um, and so that's part of the reason I kind of decided to start this Twitch stream and the podcast type thing. Um, because I realized that if I don't try and change my situation, then I'm gonna have to live that lifestyle. So, like, I do this for fun. I like doing this. It's fun, and I want to meet new people, and I want to talk about you know important issues and fucked up issues, like fun issues. I just want to talk to people, but I also do want to try to find a way out of the life that I'm leading myself into right now. So how do you guys feel? Do you feel the same way where you're not necessarily happy with the future? Or are you guys even thinking about it? Like, are you guys focusing just on what's going on right now? What are we thinking? Hmm. But yeah, um, I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Is it really better doing a job that you hate but getting paid well, or you know working a less than financially attractive job but enjoying it? That's the thing. But yeah, huh, weird, really, really weird. But yeah, like, I think we're in a situation now in this generation where it's hard to really, like, decide what we really even want to do. But think I think you really have to be careful. I'm just I just don't want to be that type of person who you know put their whole life into this thing only because it made them a specific amount of money, and you end up completely unhappy. With that being said, that's the other thing. Like, I always wonder, right? Would I be okay working a really bad job? like a job that pays well, but I had a good family to go home to. Would I be okay? Would that rationalize everything? Because you wake up at 6 in the morning to go to a job that you don't like necessarily working, and you work 9 hours, but you come home to a happy family, right? Um, would that make me? Would that be okay with me? How do you guys think? Do you? I'll pose this to you. Do you think you'd be happier working? I don't even know how to phrase it. Job, but oh, you you like a yeah, because I should add stipulations. So with working a good job, or like good means like financially good job that you don't like, but having a good family, your life is better. Like you're able to afford more things, right? So you have a nice house, nice car. But in the second situation, you have a job that you love, you work with people that you love, that you're good friends, you're able to socialize with them and go out and stuff like that. But you don't have the nicest car, you don't have the biggest house where you have a good family to go back to. In the first situation, because you're in a job that you don't like, you don't necessarily hang out with your workmates that often. So your only real friends are outside of work. There. I'm trying to show you guys what I mean. Oh, wait, there. Sorry. Pineapple, melon, and orange. That's that's what it is. Yeah. Oh god. I don't know right now which one I prefer. Yeah? I've been kind of tossing it right now. Because I want to move out. My plans in 6 months to move out of home. I did by myself, but it's too expensive to do that though. But that would be the goal, and I'm gonna see whether or not working a good well-paying job but coming home by myself, if I would be okay with that. For me, it's all I really just want to have a healthy work-life balance where I'm not asked to do work over time, not asked to stay back. I can. I'm not burnt out from my job, you know, and I'm able to give my energy and time to people outside the workplace, like my family, like my friends. That's the ideal. How realistic that is the uh, part of the answer. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's how I feel. Um. Oh, I should mention this. I'm getting tattoo on. I'm getting tattoo on Wednesday. My parents don't know. So I've got to be quiet about it. Let me see if I can show you guys. Hang on. I think So basically, when I was 19, I went to Bali with my family, and it was my birthday, and my parents got me this necklace. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so there, right? That's what it is. I mean, I don't know if the focus is over for you guys. So it says love, happiness, and it says Ben in the middle, right? And there's a dragon. So the whole point is that dragons in the middle because I was born in the year 2000, which is Chinese year of the dragon, and love and happiness. My parents said, oh, interesting. I'll answer that in a second. Like my parents said that the love and happiness is what we want for you in life. Pretty sweet. And Ben, because my name's obviously Ben. Plan is, this was on a pendant. This is a pendant on a necklace, but I broke the chain and I can't wear it anymore. And so I figured, where like you know, I'm gonna get it tattooed here, like on my not necessarily inner bicep, but like somewhere here. But I'm gonna get it a little bigger, obviously, and it's gonna be in all black. I didn't want to get it in the gold and silver just because I don't think it would look good against my skin. Um, but where it says Ben, where it's a Ben down the bottom, I'm gonna change it to my name in Sinhalese. So I think it'll be pretty cool. But yeah, that's gonna be done on Wednesday, and when I'm next on stream, probably be Wednesday. I will show you guys, and I really hope you like it. I feel like it's a good decision to make. First tattoo, pretty special and meaningful, and it's in my bicep, so it's not like super visible. It's not so big. I think I kind of nailed it. Okay, the one that doesn't pay as well. Joy work doesn't have to be less pay. Social life makes up for it. I like it. I like it. Oh, the pendant. I'll show you again. So let me see. There. So it says love here and happiness on the other side. Yeah, so love and happiness. Yeah, and it says Ben on the bottom here, and there's a dragon in the middle. Yeah, and then there's nothing on the back. Yeah, that's what it is. I think it's pretty cool, right? Um, but the job you work doesn't have to be the best pay, but to be honest, social life makes up for. Okay, okay, okay. Like, oh, you mean like social life outside of the workplace? That's fair. That's fair. Okay, okay, okay. Interesting. Hmm. Maybe I think the problem for me was when I was working that job at the law firm, I was still working Woolworths. How it would be like is Monday to Friday, 8:30 till 5 every day I would work at the law firm, and then Saturday and Sunday I would work at Woolworths. So I really never had time to go out per se. So I didn't have much of a social life. So I think I started to get kind of resentful, you know, that my social life was just being taken away from me. So I think that's why I didn't really enjoy the experience. But interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, no, definitely interesting. I like that. I do like it. Maybe I've just been thinking about things the wrong way. But um, I'm spending the last few days actually, weeks, sorry, constantly, you know, trying to get my job applications right so I can find a job. I think the other thing is, right, I've worked at Woolworths for more than 2 years, right? And I've been in the same position. Oh, oh, Right, right. The job that doesn't have. Oh, right, 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 right. You mean the one that doesn't? Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You mean the one that doesn't pay at all? Okay, okay. I got it. My bad, my bad, my bad. Fair enough. That's what I was gonna say. I think yeah, I think I would agree as well. The job that doesn't pay as well, but helps you sort of spend a little bit more time with friends and family. I would pick that too. Yeah, higher paid, not as good people. Yeah, I kind of didn't really give too many variables to make it super contrasty. But um, but what I was saying is like I feel like I've I've oh, I feel like I've run my race with this job. You know, I'm at a point now where I'm ready to move on, and it's more annoying for me that I haven't moved on. You know, does anyone else feel like that? Where you're in a space, whether it be studying a course or being at school, where you're doing this thing, you've been doing it for so long that's just, and you've made no tangible progress. That you start to resent yourself. Like I really don't like myself right now for still working at Woolworths. Like obviously I need the money. I'm gonna keep doing it, but it's almost like I know I deserve better, and I know I should be working somewhere else, making more money. And it's more like the fact that it hasn't happened, and the fact that I haven't manifested it yet is kind of what I'm mad about. You know what I mean? Um, I would love to get some opinions on this and see if I'm like the only one. But I'm I'm just kind of stuck in this weird, really dangerous cycle of you know being in a very negative environment for long periods of time. Um, yeah, I would love to hear some. What do you guys think? Have you guys feel the same way, or have you ever felt the same way? And what do you recommend? Do you recommend I quit or wait to find a new job then quit? Like, what do you guys think? Um, yeah, I'm completely open to anything. Just yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's more for me, you know, on the horizon or whatever. But yeah, what am I doing? One sec. Oh, okay, follow back. Hey, Lisa. Um, just so everyone knows, I follow back everybody because we're all here to grow together. Um, yeah, that I've been kind of going through it where I'm stuck in this really awkward scenario where I'm in a job I don't like. I'm surrounded by people that I don't like, and you know what scares me, right? You ever? I honestly feel like people that work in supermarkets kind of crazy, like serial killer crazy. I just could not see myself being genuinely okay, being like in my late 40s working in a supermarket, and not even like in a manager position as a normal worker. It just ooh, that scares me. It's not fulfilling. 100%. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely not fulfilling because I think at my age, right, with the youthfulness I have, it's almost like I know I deserve better. I know I should be somewhere else, and I shouldn't be pushing trolleys like a dog in the heat. I should be doing something else. That's what it is. At least right now for me, I just know that I should be doing something different and something better. Um, yeah, I just don't understand how people are okay, living that type of lifestyle forever, where they're just, in a supermarket, working in a supermarket. Very scary. Um, but yeah, if anyone who follows me, I will follow you right back because we all are here to grow together. But yeah, absolutely right. Just not fulfilling at all. Makes yeah, hmm, maybe it's it. But yeah, um, what do I do? What do I do? Give me a second. Ooh, it's just really not the vibe. Um, yeah, I think it's very dangerous living the lifestyle, and I feel like a lot of people fall into this stage of what's the word, self hatred. You know, when I think if you're okay, if you're genuinely okay with working in a supermarket or wherever, IGA or whatever, like if you're okay being a cleaner at the golf course, bathrooms, like if you're okay with it, I don't think this really applies to you. It's more applicable to people who are aware of their abilities and know that they can do better and should be better. I think that's what it is more than anything. Um, and those type of people, it's really dangerous to be stuck in a place that you're not, you know, reaching your full potential in for a long time. Like when I first started the job Woolworths, I was 19, still young. I hadn't had a job for 6 months before that, and so I was, let's do it, full, you know, going, all in. But um, sorry, like when you reach a point in a job where everything within your capacity, and either you haven't been given an opportunity to upgrade or you don't choose to. One thing for me, I I chose not to pursue ranking up in supermarkets because the pay increase is only $2. The extreme responsibilities that you have are not like the increase in pay isn't corroborated by that. It's not supportive because you are responsible for so much more, and so many more things can go wrong, and so many more things are placed on you. Oh my God. Oh, damn. Why? Why is that happening? Oh, sorry, Andy. Um, like, you it's probably is. It probably is my Wi-Fi. Like, so then, like, you're stuck in this circle, and if you're not happy with where your life is going, I just, yeah, I really don't live that life. Just it's scary. Anyway, um, what else? Let's move on. This is really depressing. some reason today. Um, ooh, I'll show you guys my other tattoo, or like the one that I'm gonna get. Um, let me screen share real quick. Um, I think I think this is the one. Hang on. So basically is there now. So this sword is the sword in the Sri Lankan national flag. So yeah, there. So the sword that this lion holds here, right, is this sword. This one. Yeah, it's a similar vibe. Um, and so this is kind of what I want tattooed on my shoulder. I'll be getting on my shoulder. Again, it's probably gonna be in black. I'm not gonna get the whole sword. It'll just be the handle. Um, but yeah, so it'll be something like this. This is probably the best photo I have of this. With the frills and all that stuff, and it's going to be with Japanese detailing. Um, oh, yeah, exactly. But it'll be like, yeah. This is what I'm gonna get on my shoulder. So it'll be my right shoulder, and I think it's again that one has more to do with my you know attributing it to my identity and stuff like that. Um, why is it happening? Why is it glitching? Yeah. Yeah, no, no. Uh, it's something that I've been trying to work on. The tattoo. Hmm. Um, I should say, I know you guys probably want to hear this, but thank you for supporting me, watching my stream. It means so much to me. But yeah, yeah. I've been, I've been, I've been hiding the tattoo idea to my parents for a while. Um, so you know, we'll see how it goes. I don't plan on telling them at all. Um, like at all. You know? Um, but yeah, like, one second. Yeah. Um, I've been going through. Oh, Angie, I'm going to Sydney for 2 weeks. So if you have any recommendations on where to go, just like I need recommendations on where to go because I haven't been. Okay. I'll be super close. Um, like I because I haven't been to Sydney in over 7 or 8 years. kind of I need recommendations. I kind of go like ice skating and stuff like that, or even just in general, like random places. Um, I've decided that I need a break, like from everything. So I'm running away from my problems, going to Sydney. So that's gonna be the plan. The plan is actually to go to Sydney for a week and then go to Melbourne for another week and then come up to Brisbane just in time for uni to start. But that's the plan. Um, oh, never mind. Yeah, or because I still don't have my license, I'm going to have to catch the public transport everywhere. Um, so that's no problem with me. Um, yeah, I also. Oh yeah. I put up a. Oh, dude, you guys should see this. Hang on. Might actually get this. I did a post today on Stalker Space. Got like 20 likes. Penny like as well, I think. It was pretty funny on mine. Let me just show you. Cool. Wait. There it is. Ah. Okay. Yeah. I'll just show everyone else. Like this is the one. This is the one. Okay. Because it was so difficult to pick those classes, and it kept loading and it kept crashing for no like reason at all. It was so annoying. Ah. Anyway, yeah, I managed to get all my classes though. Um, but yeah, so I'll be going to Melbourne. I mean, going to Sydney. I think I might honestly try go to Melbourne as well. Um, and get back just in time for uni. Um, yeah. What else? Dude. Okay, wait. I'll show you. Wait. I'll show you. So it is. Okay, there. Pineapple, watermelon, and orange. It's health soup. Um. mm, mm. Where'd you go? I don't think that's how you spell it. Um. But yeah. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah. The tattoo that'll be done soon. I'm gonna book my flights to Sydney. Cool. Yeah, no stress, Andrew. I'm gonna decided I'm gonna be in Sydney for New Year's for Valentine's Day and just do shit by myself in Sydney. I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. Um, jeez. That's probably my plan. Valentine's Day by myself in Sydney, and then that's probably the plan. Oh, how have we been going for an hour and 50 minutes? That's insane. Um, I want to thank everyone who's been watching. It's been amazing. What have I been? Um, Um. Oh, um. Oh, actually, I do need your advice, guys. Should I shave like closer to my face or no, or should I leave it kind of bushy as it is right now? Um, I'm considering kind of growing it out where it is, or should I just go back to super super close to the skin? That's one thing. That's one thing I need help with. Um. Also, I'm gonna get your help on some shirts that I got. Just look at this shirt I got. It's like a clean Nike shirt. Like a that looks really nice, I think. And then show you this one. Look at this. It says soul food. Wait, yeah, soul food. And then look, okay, it might be a bit too much to be honest. It really kind of is a little too much, but I don't know. I like it. It was $26. Um. Oh wait, and you might actually like this one. This is a JW Anderson shirt. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this floral. It's just a white polo with the floral. I think it's I think it's cool. Yeah, this one specific I really like. Um, and then I also got this. It's literally just plain brown, but this is like a gum, and because I got those dunks that have the gum sole on the bottom, it'll look really nice. Once the shoes come in and I pair everything up, so I'm very keen for that. That's what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of retail therapy, and once I pay off the tattoo, I think I'm done. Once I get back from Sydney, then I'll be done. But um, I've been saving up to move out for the most part. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm also looking for some like pleated trousers if anyone's got them. Uh, uh, yeah. So I need help with those. Um, what do? Hmm. Okay, I should give you guys like a recap of what today was. Today's stream was basically it started off right with me just talking about like myself and like I want people to ask me questions about me so they could know more about me. I wanted to have it as like an introductory episode type of thing so people know who I am, where I'm from, and why I have the opinions that I do. Um, that didn't really work out the best. So then I did have a very in-depth conversation about underrepresentation of POCs in Western media. So that was really good. That was like solid 45 minutes to an hour where I talked about like um, Silu and stuff like that. It was really cool. It's like somewhere from like a minute and somewhere between like 25 minutes to an hour. I talked about that. Um, and then I talked about Vine. I talked about TikTok and how all this can lead into Asian hate and racial crime and stuff like that. Today was actually really interesting. I don't know how the fuck I came up with all this shit, but it was really cool. And I had a few questions that I answered and stuff. It was really fun. This is good. I like this. This is fun. I just need to figure out how to like get people to chat to talk to me, and put it on like on video. What I want is somebody else's face on the other side of the couch. So it looks like so it's like where's it? Yeah, so it's like, how do you feel? You know? How do you feel? And it's like a conversation. That's what I want to have. Um, yeah, I was talking about how creators like Lily Singh and King Batch, because they reinforce negative stereotypes about their own culture, but made it in a comedic fashion. What they did unintentionally or intentionally was they actually normalized racism towards people of their own culture. But because their media was primarily absorbed by Westerners and predominantly white people, what it meant was it gave white people a sense of security to make, you know, comments or jokes and stuff like that. It's almost like a, oh, if this content creator makes jokes about his own people and I see the content and he approves of me, or because he doesn't say why people can't make these jokes, that means that I can make these jokes, and that's what perpetuates racism and stuff like that. It was really good. Um, yeah. I definitely should get more people on this couch. It would be really cool. It would just be an absolute mind trip. But yeah, that's what we were talking about today. And then we were like, I was talking about how in Asian culture, like brown culture and Southeast Asian culture, the emphasis on education is so strong that a lot of creativity is cut out from a young age, right? Yeah, I might do it. I might put my AirPods next time. So, because of that, right? Because of that, you know, because of that sort of stifling of creativity, you end up having a situation where the limited amount of representation that we get within Western media is so controlled by Western media. So talked about how, like, the character Apu from The Simpsons, he's an Indian guy in the TV show, but he's actually voiced by a white person, right? Or if you look at Raj from Big Bang Theory, he's a British Indian actor. He doesn't have an Indian accent. He just puts it on for the TV show. So stuff like that, right? Where in the small amount of representation we get is controlled by Western media, makes it almost impossible for us to change the narrative around who we really are, show who we are as people. You know that also perpetuates to this lifestyle where brown people are seen as very inferior or very one-dimensional, and that they only study or they're only lawyers, doctors, engineers, businessmen. That's it. And as young kids, they have no creativity. All they do is study. Blah blah blah. That's what I was talking about earlier today. I got a lot more in depth, like earlier in the stream, but yeah. And then I talked about how like we're starting to see a bit of a cultural shift now, like since the popularization of BTS and Korean culture and Japanese culture, we've had exposure to a Asian superhero. I I'm not saying it's because of BTS stuff like that, but it is coincidental that the popularization of Asian culture was what caused Western media, especially movies, to start paying more attention towards Asian actors. You know what I mean? Like Aquafina was barely known before BTS and K-pop and all that stuff started popping off. Simu Liu would never have been Shang-Chi in the Marvel movies unless this massive surge of popularity rose, right? And because of that movie, especially Shang-Chi, we were able to see so much more about Southeast Asian culture as opposed to just, you know, people who were very smart, you know what I mean? You had a lot more people making content as stunt doubles in movies or gym going, Asians and stuff like that. Brown people don't have that yet. So we were kind of there with Kumail Nanjiani, the guy from the Eternals. Dude got like super jacked and super ripped, and it was a good, representation for us. But we just need to keep going. That's kind of the stuff that like that's kind of what we're getting into recently. That's what we were going into. Yeah, yeah. We talked about it a lot today. It was a very, very like open ended stream. Very very informative. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've developed a list of topics to talk about every stream. What I'm gonna do is pick one topic and talk about twice a week, just so if I have any viewers or if people have questions from the last stream, I can answer them again. Um, and then go through that. Um, but yeah, yeah. I've been I've been going through it recently, but I think I might stop today because it is 11:15 and I am tired. Um, I've been going to the gym like these last few days every week, right? But working specifically on biceps just to build the muscle before I get my tattoo, just because I read that if you get the tattoo on the muscle as opposed to this like where this fat is, it hurts less. And I'm very scared that it's gonna hurt. Um, and they also said that getting tattoo on like the inner bicep here is like it's like very painful. I'm not really looking forward to it. A tattoo is on Wednesday, so like basically a day away. Um, yeah, maybe I should put it on Instagram. Hey, um, yeah, yeah, I think I will. I've put the link to my account on my bio on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram, but I should maybe I should put it on my story soon. Yeah, yeah, I think I will. Um, yeah, no, I will do it soon. Um, I just want to some more like get some more listeners. But I hit 4 listeners today, which is like the most I've had, and I was like super happy for it. Um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I think this is good. Yeah, no, you're right, you're right, you're right. No one's gonna join unless they actually even know that I'm doing it in the first place. Yeah, I I'll fill out the list of topics I'm doing. What I'm planning to do is have a list of topics and post it like on my Instagram story and have people vote which one they want to listen to. And I want to have like guests on, so like one person can join a specific podcast and discuss issues about that podcast with me, so that way it isn't just me talking the entire time, you know. Um, but yeah, I will put it on my Instagram soon. Um, yeah, no, you're right, you're right. Mm, yeah. Penny, would you like to join my stream sometime? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Um, yeah, yeah. Slowly getting up to it. Um, yeah. I will. All right, everyone. Okay, this is it. Thank you for watching today's stream. It was really cool having everybody on, and I'm so glad that I was able to talk to people and have some really good discussions with everybody. Good night. Hope you sleep well and all that stuff. I will post an update on when my next stream will be. It'll probably be in 2 days when I get my tattoo done, and I can show everybody the tattoo. But I might stream tomorrow. So what we'll do is add everyone to a specific Instagram story, so everybody knows when I'm going live, and then bring it out more to more people. But yeah. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next time.